I'm very pleased to introduce our final presenter for this year's Hub. Gridthiya Gaweewong is a curator and researcher based in Bangkok and Chiang Rai. Raised in Chiang Mai, she holds an MA in Art Administration and Policy from the School of the Art Institute of Chicago, and a Doctor of Fine and Applied Arts from Chulalongkorn University. She co-founded Project 304, an independent art initiative in Bangkok, which she co-directed from 1996 to 2002. Her curatorial practice explores social and political transformations affecting artists in Thailand and beyond, with particular attention to Cold War legacies and their aftermath. She has curated numerous regional and international exhibitions, including Under Construction at Tokyo Opera City Gallery and the Japan Foundation Forum in 2003, Politics of Fun at the Haus der Kulturen der Welt in Berlin in 2005, the Bangkok Experimental Film Festival, and Unreal Asia at the Oberhausen International Short Film Festival. She also curated Apichatpong Weerasethakul, The Serenity of Madness, which toured internationally between 2016 and 2019, and she was part of the curatorial team for the 12th Gwangju Biennale in 2018, and recently she was a co-artistic director of the Thailand Biennale in Chiang Rai, which happened in 2023. She has curated many exhibitions at the Jim Thompson Art Center in Bangkok, where she serves as the artistic director, as well as exhibitions at MAIIAM Contemporary Art Museum in Chiang Mai, the Almaty Museum of Art, and the Cheongju Craft Biennale. So with that, welcome, Gridthiya.
You know what? I was wondering why he asked me to be the last one. Now I know because of the seniority, I think.
Yes.
And I have something for you because of the business of curating is about making connection, and this is a very good connection between Calcutta and Bangkok. In case after this, you guys gonna have it. It's like the chef Anand Kakan, from Calcutta, and he moved to Bangkok, and he made Bangkok one of the best restaurants in the world, according to Michelin. Okay, so you will have all of this, okay? After my presentation, because
you get candy if you stay.
If you're gonna do it now, are you gonna bribe the audience? Okay, so let me go very fast because I started my career in the 90s, right? So I got 30-year experience. So I prepare. Actually, I cut down from 180 slides to 35. So it means that I will have one minute for one slice. Okay, please bear with me. I just want to share you quickly about my practice. So the way that I really believe in the coexistence of the cyclical time and the linear time, that we struggle with, especially the Asian people, right? Because I totally believe in next life and also last life, is totally a good friend of Uncle Bunmi. And so this is, that's why I kind of create a circle, of my practice. So 5 points I want to touch upon. The first one is on being alternative and independent curators, okay? So I totally different, come from different background than Zoe, because she started from institution, right? So for me, I was born in a very small town near the Golden Triangle, and I'm not even Thai. I was a small tribal, not like tribal meanings like not that ethnic group, I'm from the shared people by minority, from south of China, minority from whole, right? From everywhere, from the old empire, right? Both China and Thailand and everything. So we are almost in the borders, crossing between the South China to Chiang State and the north of Thailand. So this is where I come from. And I always felt myself like I'm in the borders because I'm the border girls, right? So I never have the every time when I was in Bangkok, I always feel like I'm not even Thai people, because Thai language is my third language. I have to learn how to speak another language, right? And Thai is my third language. So English is my fourth language. So bear with me with my broken English. So what happened is I grew up, I was born in the 60s. So what happened is if you grow up like in the late 80s and the 90s, right? We have nothing for institutions like the museum, and all those kind of art space, because most of the museum is very traditional museum. It's like archaeological museum. We have a lot of museum in Thailand, but most of the museum are archaeology. And of course, the curator for archaeological museum, you have to go to archaeology department, art history, straightforward. And of course, people who work in those kind of museum, they never leave, right? They always stay. So it's no place for people like me who are not even come from the art background. I study English literatures, and I didn't even go directly to the art world. After my graduation from Open University in Bangkok, I went directly to refugee camp. I was working as an English ESL teacher, under the UNHCR, and also part of the refugee from Southeast Indochina who's prepared themselves to go to the United States. So that kind of program. And I was there for 3 years and a half. And then I met someone who knows someone who said, oh, there's going to be a gallery in Bangkok. They opened the gallery, commercial gallery in the early 90s. And they want someone who's interested in art and can speak English. This is me. Okay, so I get the job, and I was really shocked, with this commercializations, of the art market, because it was the hype of the bubble economy. Remember, before the economic crisis, right? We have a lot of yuppie, and like all those young people, from upper middle class and aristocrat, so they always like in the stock market, and then after they got a lot of money, they would buy art. So those kind of people who later become my boss now, So I introduced one person. His name is Eric Booth. So if you watch this video, he's the one who like just graduated, from Georgetown, and he came back to Thailand, and we happen to know each other. So he's one of the, I introduced him a lot of artists, including with people like Zoe worked with, like Montian Munman and everyone. So this kind of group of young collectors, including with the DIP, the founder of DIP Museum, that was in the early 90s. They started to collect art. Slowly, like it was the beginning of contemporary art in Southeast Asia, right? So it's very interesting kind of seeing. But suddenly I just fed up with all this commercialization, because I'm totally like 75% of me is more like NGO, because I come from the refugee camp, and they're like, oh my God, like this is how people spend money, So I was like, I love art, but I don't like selling art, So there was one day a very cool interior designer came to me and said, you know what? She has a whole floor plan of the apartment. I said, I want some art that matched the color of the wall or sofa. Okay, I stopped. So I decided to quit. I was really wanted to work with non-profit artwork, and especially museum, even though we don't have any, but I still wanted to go to different direction. So I asked my family that I want to study museum studies or curatorial practice, and they're really like kind, they sent me to, I got the money from my family, and I studied at the Art Institute Chicago for 2 years, 1994 to 96. That was a very special year. Why? Because suddenly there's 16 Thai students in the school. It's the history of the oldest art school in the America, and they never have a lot of Thai students in the same year. So I remember the dean gave us money, like, you guys should form the Thai Student Association, like after, in the past, they have a lot of Japanese, a lot of Korean. This is suddenly so many Thai students, right? And one person that I met is Apichatpong Weerasethakul, So we came from totally like outside of Bangkok. He came from the northeast, I'm from the north, right? And suddenly he called me like, sister, can you come and see my work? And then I saw one of the first of his short film, and I was crying. So this is the beginning of our long-term friendship. I was, oh my God, I mean, I never cried on experimental film before. So normally, you know what, I was crying like a lot of Indian movie, like especially with the elephant, you remember? Like that one, yes. So, but no, not experimental film. So it was like, this guy must have been something special, So I invest on him. Since like that day, okay, that was the turning point of our like long term. And then so after I graduated, I just like I wanted to start the alternative space in Thailand, because I remember one time I went to the US and I saw PS1 Museum. And I was like, why don't we have some space like this? And it was the first time I saw Redrick's work, at 303 Gallery. And also it's the show called Sleepless Night. And there was another photographer who's quite famous now, is Christopher Doyle. That was in the same show. So I was like, wow, I really want to have a space like this in Thailand. And when I come back, Montian said, you should go back and study, and then you become curator. So Montian is my, my mentor. So I think this is a good idea. I wanted to do that. So this is my thesis. And I remember the day that I graduated, Rachel Weiss, she asked me, why don't you stay one more year, in the US? Because, as a student, we can stay. And I told Rachel that, Rachel, America doesn't need me, I mean, I have nothing to do here. I didn't really see myself in the US, right? So I better come home, because there was so many things to do, because there's nothing, there is no space for people like me and my friends, because all the stuff that Montian and experimental artists who's working with more conceptual ideas, we have no place for them to show, right? And mostly you have to see the work where APT, like Fukuoka and stuff like that. So when you ask me why I started doing something like this, on being alternative, it's not a cool stuff. It's like, it's a given, it's a condition that we have to be alternative. And people ask us like, alternative of what? It's not the same as in New York or London, that alternative from art market, blah, blah, blah. We don't even have art market. Up until now, Bangkok is like, Thailand has the worst art market in Southeast Asia. Believe me. So I think what we do is it's the alternative of the lack of institution, right? It's the lack of infrastructure. So this is how we started. We is not like me alone, but all my friends, people you see here, like part of it from, we studied together at the Art Institute, and the other half is all the artists who were really active in the late 30s and really emerged on the rise of globalization, and the rise of the biennales along the Southeast, along the Asia Pacific. That was the people who has to share ideas, and we do it together. So this is how we start. With my former apartment, number 304. So that's why Project 304. That's why it's so easy, that's why I told everybody I'm really basic person. So that's why I told creatives. And then we have so many people, who study together. So I take care of visual arts, and I invite a lot of Montian and everyone to be a committee, because we wanted to kind of encourage younger people to start to think about more conceptually and know how to write proposal, prepare their portfolio. So this is what we do. And Michael's taking care of performance part. Apichatpong, he's taking care of the film section. So the first time we showed the film, it was in our space, a small apartment, L-shaped, 65 square meters. And he called his program Kick the Machine, which is now become the name of his company. And I'm one of the board of his company. And also he's been the first film producer. So this is how we start. And then, we started in 1996. And then we work with a lot of people all in Thailand, around Thailand, as well as Southeast Asia, and also international. I remember in 2002, Charles and Hanru invited us to join this, very important chapters of Gwangju Biennale. So we were part of those, this collective from Asia and Europe, right? So this is almost the end of Project 204. And I remember I met Wong Rupa. So they just started. And that year they got the awards, so that's why this is how Wong Rupa started. For us, after we come back from Korea, we will discuss among each other collaboration, like you mentioned. It's very, very romantic idea. But at the end, when after you've been working together for almost like 6-7 years, we just fight with each other. We hate each other. I just want to ask all these collectives that if they say, how many people that they still talk to, I mean, like, look at the people that in the photo. I think, who can you have dinner with, A few of them, yeah. We're still good friends of some of them, but not all of them. So this is like interesting. So that's why I think, and I remember like almost the end, of our, before we decide to cross the space, I was invited by the Japan Foundation, to do a crazy exhibition about Mustafa, not you, it's Ahmad, right? He was also invited by 8 countries in Asia to think about what is the new dimension of contemporary art in Asia in 21st century. So this is a beautiful question. And back then, Japan is still very rich, so they gave a lot of like long-term project. We have to do like 3 years project, like do research and stuff like that. That brought me to India. Okay. So I remember the first time I came to India, it was in Delhi. Pooja invited me, and I gave a talk to all Indian art scene in Support Gupta's and Bharati's condo. Everyone was there, and I think it was really interesting. And then I went back again, to do research in Mumbai and Delhi. So I worked with 3 people from here, Bharati, Support, and Shamila, from Mumbai. So this is and I also work with Thailand, China, and India. And when I invite Indian and Chinese artists to Bangkok, why we are in the same show? Because Chinese, they didn't feel like how they related to India, with like, and for me, I said, I'm in the middle, it's kind of go back to the pre-modern history. I'm not so much modern, I'm super not modern. But I think Thailand, we are like pre-modern, and then we jump directly to post-modern. We never been moderns, okay? My country's never been modernized. You can argue with me, Kun Gulapat, but for me, from my own perspective, we've never been modern. Yes, it's overrated. Okay, so archive viewer is not dead. I have to contradict you. In Thailand, this is the reason why I say yes, to Asian Art Archive, because we were there only like 7 years, and I think in the mid-90s is very important for Thai art history, because contemporary art history, because no one write about us, and I don't want to write my own history. And we were like, who would write our own history? And how can, and then we complain like, oh, no one know about this, part of history, because we never tell them. And because we don't want to just, like, why do I have to teach you about what I did, in the past? So someone have to do it, right? So this is the stuff about Thai 4204. It was already in the archives. I'm really happy about that. And we also do the Experimental Film Festival. We start in 1996. And we always do some very randomly, because we never have enough time and money. And we stopped around 2011 and 12. And then just last year, we do the 7th edition with Apichatpong, and we got money from the big corporate, One Bangkok, they help us. So there was a 7th edition after 10 years. And now we're thinking about 8 editions. And Apichatpong said, no, we skipped. We're not going to do the 8th one. We're going to do the 9th edition. He's going to do it. And we just imagine that the 8 is already like in your dream. Okay? Okay. So we do this, and it was very interesting to see a lot of filmmakers that submitted to film screening program. We have about 600 people submitted. I mean, there's so many filmmakers in Thailand and the region. Yeah. So the second part, I'm gonna go very fast. After after I left 304, I become independent, and I was working shortly in Vietnam, and there's just a lot of like trouble. We need another lectures on this. But I was heavily censored, like even before Sans Art. So that's why Dean Cure, who's invited me to do the Thailand Biennale, so I invite Grid in. I said, no, we're not going to do Biennale. To early 2000 in Vietnam, or even in Southeast Asia, only Singapore can do it, okay? But we cannot. So we call it Saigon Open City, and I was heavily censored. I was super depressed. And my friend called me in, and I told him that I really want to work with you guys, at the Jim Thompson Art Center. So we started to, Jim Thompson Art Center was part of the Jim Thompson House Museum. It's one of the top 5 tourist attractions in Bangkok. And that house started since 1970s. And for us, we start around early 2000. And I joined them already, like next year, it will be 20 years of my terms at Jim Thompson. So what we did is we worked with, this is Jim Thompson House. What happened? He didn't let he
Jim Thompson.
He's also trying me to talk about the house. Okay, so Jim Thompson. I was going to like this. See? Okay, I have to talk about the house. Okay, Jim, he's American military who came to Thailand during the World War II, and he served as a spy. Actually, he's working with the Office Strategic Service, which is the foreigner of the CIA. Okay, so he started the Silk Company after the end of the war, come back to Thailand, working with the Muslim community next door, and he started the Silk Company. And if anyone go to Thailand, please buy Jim Thompson at our museum shop, because this is the only place that they supported us. Okay. So this is how we started, right? So within the same compound, we started Jim Thompson. And the beginning is called Jim Thompson Center for Textile and Arts. And then later it becomes Art Center. So we work a lot with both traditional art and contemporary art. So we have people like Pinnery, and we do a lot of Thailand and international, less regional. We are not so much interested in the Southeast Asia as much as in where Mustafa come from. Okay, the problem in Southeast Asia is Singapore. The problem of Southeast Asia is we are too busy cleaning our own problem, too busy dealing with our own history, we're too busy dealing our own nationalistic internal problem. We're not so much thinking beyond ourselves. So this is the problem. And then this is what we trying to kind of challenge the notion of this so national centric. And this is how we started to work with the regional, in 2015. So, we do more regional perspective. Can you help? Is that moving? Okay. So this is a show that, I started to kind of invite a lot of people from Myanmar, from the whole ASEAN countries, Indonesia, Maria, who's going to have a solo show at SAM, from Philippines, Laos, and, Vietnam and Myanmar. And this is, I have 2 chapters because, my space is very small, and I have a very special relationship with moving image, because when I was young, my family used to have a cinema. So I always go in and out, the cinema, and I feel like everyone should be able to do like that. And that's why, we have a lot of major debates with the Apichatpong about how people access the cinema, and And we do a lot of, educational program. We are so lucky to have Ben Anderson, who always hang out in Thailand before he passed away. And we have a new building right now. So we also, in the new building, we did an open call, and we have a lot of projects, proposed by curator, artists, the great Rushdie Anwar, and curated by Zoe Bart, and we are so happy, to be able to do that, And I don't know, it's more like conscious that we work a lot with Muslim artists, maybe because we are very close to the Muslim community, next door. And also we have Kade Atir, who is going to work with, Koshi. And we have some, who's really interested in the, the Mekong region. And we have art on farm. Okay, so I hope that we can do it, continue to do this. We're trying to bring artists outside of outside of Bangkok, and then we bring them to the farm. So last year we have a 50 years anniversary. I was thinking a lot about the geography, and the problem, as I say, but the problem of Thailand, like, where do we locate ourselves, right, in the world? I mean, especially because of the relationship between colonialism and also during the Cold War, we were totally like a little bit alienate ourselves, from our neighbors. And then my question about the history of the Cold War, especially with working with Jim Thompson, I cannot get away from the ghost of the Cold War. So I really have to dig into that. And we have a lot of archival materials, so I have to dig into that. And then we started to think about like how we can connect to not only the global south, but what about Eurasia? What about the country beyond, beyond like especially the post-communist country, that I think we have the same problem, even though we come from the free worlds, but after the war, right? And in Soviet country, they don't have Cold War. They call it post-Soviet, right? Soviet time. So we were like, at the end, we face the same shit, right? Even though it's from communist or from free world. And I think this is a very important kind of thing that we should share. So I have not only, the title is the Shatterverse and small narrative from Ho Chi Minh Trails, to the Great Step. We just want to, kind of open up people's mind, like how vast the geography of us, from Southeast Asia to Northwest Asia. And we have something we show at the BACC, Bangkok Art Center, and also Jim Thompson, William Warren, and also the Haus. In Jim Thompson, because of the politics, of the Jim Thompson himself, he's very much related to international relationships. So we asked Grace and Hyphen, from Indonesia to show the Bandung Conference, her research on Bandung Conference. And I have very beautiful installation of MAIIAM. I create the movie theater for him, okay? Mm-hmm. So it's like 200 square meters, beautiful. And he told me that I need the seat from the theater. So I have to rent that beautiful seat for him. And everyone loved it. It's 90 minutes, so you really need a space. And then I was invited after I worked with Almakun, and there was a new museum open in Almaty, and she asked me, Gridthiya, would you like to curate my show? And I asked her, why do you ask me? Because she used to work with people like David Elia, and other people said, no, I want some perspective for someone from not the West, but from Southeast Asia. So this is how I got there. And I was really happy to learn about Kazakhstan, which I know nothing about the country. And through her work, it's really opened the doors for me in different directions of the whole history of Kazakhstan, including with this project. It's called Kashatov 22. It's 5 channels video. It's about how Kazakh has been the important site for nuclear testing during the Soviet time. I think it was really important, and many people cry. Like Kazakh people, when they come to see the show, and they was crying. And this is a new project, National Art Gallery. So I was kind of moving from small apartments, like alternative space, right? And then running the institution like Jim Thompson, with super gram, and That's money that I don't need to write the grants, like there's a few budget for me to work with. And now the National Art Gallery project, I was working with them as an advisor, and this is very interesting, crazy project. For me, it's like a manifestation of the politics of Thailand, because if you look at the history, right? See? Oh my God! So now I want the competition. You have to tell me how many years you guys built National Gallery.
Yeah.
How many years it takes you to tell us the Haus? How many years? Art gallery, not national.
Yes.
You win.
Yes.
So, yeah, okay, wrap up. So this is my wrap up. So I would like, on behalf of the National Gallery and Ministry of Culture and Tourism, I invite you guys to go for the opening next year to see Sorry Bat, in March and this one in October. Okay. Space. Yeah. I said future project. Can I advertise my future project? So actually, the title of my talk is like, at the end of the text is like, trying to imagine the new model of curatorial practice. So I just want to play with the Biennale model. So I would call this project, because I want to go back to where I come from and explore the water, like the region, the Zomia, we're talking about Suda. And I call this project, actually it's inspired by Montian. Mekong, he wanted to do Mekong Biennale, so it's not working. I call it Mekong occasionally. Yeah, this is my proposal to the world, okay? And it's from Southeast Asian point of view. Everything is so occasionally. And I think I want to end here. Okay, thank you so much. Please up around. Should do it next. It's not grabbing you.
This
one is good. This is gagan. You press it over
This
there.
is.
You have to back up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Oh, it's not finished yet.
No, that's not bad.
I thought it's done.
Even though
That's great.
I feel like we're on the Oprah Winfrey show, but it's better. It's more fun. Thank you so much, Gridthiya, for somehow bringing together many, many years and many, many different kinds of projects. And I want to actually, you have many quotable quotes, but one of the things you said when we were chatting was, I'm not a curator, I have fun. And I want to kind of talk about the ways in which you're obviously negotiating many different geographies, many different kinds of complexities in terms of working at all of these different scales you've articulated, but also in all of these different places. This kind of intra-Asia collaboration that we really all want to have, but poses some real challenges. It'd be important for us to kind of think of your work as a model for trying to do things like this. And we've heard other examples and other kinds of situations of how that kind of working across borders is something that presents a very important challenge to one's practice, but one that can often also require you to have to switch gears or change what you thought you were going to do. And so tell us a bit more about the way in which you imagine the future of this work as you continue to kind of enter into spaces in now Central Asia, for example, hopefully in South Asia more and more in the coming years as well. But also actually this idea of going back to the field, going back to a place that you come from and that you worked in, but that you also, in a way, are a kind of insider-outsider too as well now. Maybe, you want to think with us a little bit more about those?
Yeah. I think it's very interesting to the ideas of going back to Brazil and to where it's come from. Actually, it's not so easy as to think, right? And I think the most difficult place that we can work is in our hometown.
Yeah.
Especially people, I have a long discussion with Mustafa, and it was like, for me, Chiang Rai people didn't even know that I come from Chiang Rai. They thought that, I thought you're from Chiang Mai, So when I was asked to do the Thailand Biennale in Chiang Rai, actually I know nothing about Chiang Rai, because my experience with the city is like zero, because I come from the borders, right? And my parents sent me to study in Chiang Mai. I have no experience in Chiang Rai at all, and I rarely have stay overnight in Chiang Rai, except I have to go and take care of my father in the hospital. So it's not hotel that I stay in Chiang Rai, it's hospital. So I think for me, the one tips that I wanted to share with you guys is to just observe, listen, and have to really open your brain and your heart, and listen to people. And the art of listening, right, is really important. Yeah, and I just zero. I just, I remember when I was with Grid, the first time when we went to Ho Chi Minh City together, and he told me I know nothing about this place, but he was in Hanoi before the Doi Mai, because his father was diplomat. He was in Hanoi in the 80s, and he said that he never been to Saigon, and he come with empty head, so he just want to listen, and I learned a lot from him. So working with artists, like what you say, Tarini, it was really interesting, to learn from them. Not only learn from curator, right, but learning from artists co-curator. I really like working with them, and we have to open, we have to listen, and we're trying to see as much as we can. And I also read a lot, I do a long list of literature review, do YouTube channel, and I send to all the artists on my team before we go to the field. And also some of the curators or artists that we invited them to see the site. So we asked them, we sent everything to them before, and then they just gave us the list, they want to see blah, 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 and then we take them to the site. So that's how we can work with the site specific, right? If you want artists to respond to the site, they have to know as much as they can, right? The same as us, especially as a curatorial team. So, but the same thing that I felt with the Kazakhstan case, I know nothing about Kazakhstan, and I learned from Awakun. So she took me to shamans, and we have to go through that whole shamanistic process, with them, being naked, and you have to take a shower. And so no, I cannot do it. I'm Buddhist, I was it was really interesting process, that we really have to open up and go. Like someone say, you have to be more fluid, be water, right? I don't want to be Bruce Lee, but sometimes we have to be Bruce Lee,
Yeah.
It's very... it's really important, right? Okay.
I think one of the things Gridthiya, I think for all of us kind of watching in the last couple of years and certainly continuing on in Thailand is this kind of explosion of institutions, spaces, and you said that the art market is still terrible, and maybe there is a reason that there's all of these other kinds of things that have happened, because the art market certainly doesn't dominate the scene even now. But I think what is interesting to hear you talk about starting or being part of these alternative spaces before this kind of institutional explosion. How do you see, since you are the senior most curator in our lineup, if we can, we must ask how you kind of think about the way in which actually those kinds of spaces and projects that you and many others of your friends and collaborators were involved with in the 90s and early 2000s, do you see a way in which they have informed the kinds of projects and institutions that are opening now in Thailand?
Yes.
Like, are they responsive to the alternative?
I think they're still building another level of alternative organization on the long, like, in kind of parallel to what's happening in the grander scales, like National Gallery, Deep Museum, Decentral. For example, people like Apichatpong, and right now he's working on the theaters, like kind of independent movie theaters with Bangkok City project, and they will do it in Chiang Mai. And also Grid, he'll come back, and next week we're gonna do a workshop, with a lot of people gathering in Chiang Mai. So it's not like they stop, these people. And I believe that if Montien's still alive, he will do a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's not like I can retire right now, when Deep open or, Decentral open.
Yeah.
But for me, especially, working at the Jim Thompson Art Center with all this landscape, we will discuss among ourselves, like, where are we now? Are we still relevant?
Yeah.
Because there's so many more space, and we don't even collect art. We more like, Kunsthalle, right? Kunsthalle, not Bangkok Kunsthalle. We're like art center. Okay. Kunsthalle also, we have Kunsthalle in Thailand. So what we're doing, why we still exist, and are we gonna do the same thing that we have done in the last 20 years, right? So I remember one time, one of those future projects that, we do call for entries. And there was one young curators from Hong Kong. She proposed an exhibition about the Asian diaspora, especially Chinese diaspora, to Southeast Asia. And then after we opened the show, she came to me and said, Jeb, thank you so much. That gave me space to do this. Because I could not do this kind of show in my city, which is Hong Kong. I said, wow. Now I know why we still, exist.
Yeah.
And why do we still do what we do? And I was thinking of the term alternative, like we can be alternative institution, right? Among this like emerging grander scales kind of scene. Why? Because we can still have the freedom, to do what we do, especially, I don't know how much you follow the Thai politics. Since 2006 to 2014, 15, we have like two times coup d'etat, right? So Thailand has so many coup d'etats, which is the same frequency as how Germany has documenta. Every 4 years, we have it. Every 4 years, we have coup d'etat. And cross our fingers that they won't repeat itself again.
Next year, it's due.
We're like, you have to be careful. This is our contingency plan, okay, for Thailand. So I lost this. So I think this is very important to just be aware that if you want to do something like long-term plan in Thailand, it's not working because it was always interrupted, right? And what we do is like during the coup d'etat, so many things has been cancelled, or censored in the institution. So we kind of open our space for academia, and others to discuss. I remember the first time that they announced the coup d'etat, we do the small talk. It actually is the money from the government. And the title is like, where are we now? Where are we heading? And we got a lot of police and, military came, just to watch over us. It was like, oh my God, this is what happened, in Thailand back then. But right now, I think it's okay. And the government in the last 2 years, they have a project called Soft Power, which is actually a copy of Joseph Nye's idea. But it's, they propose something like 5 million baht budget, for art and culture. So that's why there's so many things happening, in Thailand in the last 2-3 years. Yeah. And of course, it was so cool project. And then that government did not last for 4 years. And we don't do kudeta now. We use legal issues, just to kick them out. and especially younger people, we don't have, we learn the lesson and we have no time to protest right now. And then we learn the lesson. We say, okay, you guys just solve the problem in parliament, right? And this is how we kind of encourage them to be more professional politicians.
Questions for Jab? Hands up if you have a question.
Comments?
Or comments or thoughts or... Pablo.
Yes. Hello. Okay, who is more?
Nothing so.
You can just comment.
I was just
You can
curious.
just comment. Sorry, Pablo, you can ask questions too.
Stand up.
Stand up. All right, this is Pablo. Back again. Since you were the co-curator of the Thailand Biennale, it is a unique model in the sense that it changes its venue every...
2 years.
Do you think that it's a workable model or not? Because usually biennales are grounded in one space. So with this sort of gypsy biennale, every time a new infrastructure has to be built. So is this something, in your view, feasible or it's impractical? What would you say?
Yes and no. Because it's totally depend on the city. Yeah, for example, I think Chiang Rai is very different because it has been prepared for almost at least 20 years. And we have very strong artist community. Yeah. And that's why I got a lot of support from local people, local artists. And we don't have museum. We have a lot of temples. And I remember one time we brought friends from the US and they went to see so many temples, in Chiang Rai. The white temple, the pink temple, the blue temple. It's like, oh my God, this is Wood Disneyland. It's like, I love this term, Chiang Rai is Wood Disneyland. Okay, so, but there was the person, the very cool artist, his name is Chulalongkorn, who renovated the White Temple. And he's the one who built the museum for us. I said, how much do you need? Like, how big of the museum? I think at least 10,000 square meters, that would do, But we didn't have that big space as 10,000, but something like 5,000 square meters. So there was the guy, very cool, very nice person who's like the real estate development. He donated the land to us, and then Chulalongkorn, he used his own money, something like $2 million US, that he gave money to us, to build the museum. So I think this is very unique, in Chiang Rai. But other city, it's a little bit tough. So for us, it's really interesting that the government themselves decided to diversify, because the problem of Bangkok and Thailand is always about centralization. And what we're trying to do is really trying to decentralize all the, not only artistic activities, but everything, in other city, in the north, the northeast, and the south, right? Like people like me and a lot of my friends and my previous generation, why do we have to come to Bangkok to study? I want to study and work in the north, but I cannot do it. I remember when my father asked me, like, why you want to study art administration? Because there's no museum in Thailand. I said, Dad, there will be a museum in Thailand. but I have to wait 10 years, like for the first contemporary art museum in the north of Thailand, okay? So this is like, it's not like we just do it, in 1 or 2, 5 years. We've been working our ass off since 30 years, even more than that, So it's not, and everything is very slow. I think the slowness is good because it's kind of building like bit by bit, it's more solid. We have like, I remember, and it's not easy for us. Everything we have to fight for. Bangkok Art Center in the middle of the Pathumwan. We, the artist community, fight the city. We want the art center. You have to build for us, So it's something like that. Yeah, and I think for this project has been initiated by the government, and they decided, okay, we should look at changing the location, right? So the north, the south, the northeast. Of course, it's a pain in the ass for them. I'm okay because I do only one term, okay? And the thing about Chiang Rai, this is really about the city. I mean, after that, if you look at the 5th edition, then the next one will be in Rayong, right? The city around 2-3 hours from Suvarnabhumi, the airport, is okay. And of course, no infrastructures. It's more like capacity building, infrastructure building. And in Chiang Rai right now, there's so many things happening. We got so many activities. Up until now, they're doing it. They do the art festival in the market, the forest, everywhere. And it was like you plant the seed, and if some city has been fertile enough, they grow by itself, right? And I think it's not that bad ideas, but the problem of the government, it's tough.
Yeah.
Now I'm working for them. So.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, okay?
Yeah.
And someone said, it took them it's always negotiation. You have to remember, we're working with dinosaurs.
Yeah.
How to negotiate with dinosaurs? That's another thing, okay?
The title of your book. Another question.
Is there another one I'd like to ask?
Go ahead.
If there's a question I could wait.
No, go for
Okay.
it. Yeah, go.
Just curious, what is the relationship of the city with the new spaces that's opening up? I mean, Jim Thompson's been there for a while, but Bangkok Kunsthalle or even Tips, for example. I'm just interested in what is the city's relationship, the local people's relationship with those spaces.
We have local people here. I think we're excited. I think Bangkok and Thai people are very open. And we always get excited when something new happens. Like in the last 2-3 days, we were so excited there will be new museum open, like from Tasmania, the Museum of New and Modern Art, right? They're gonna blend into Bangkok, and it's open in the next 3 years. Yeah, so it's something like, it's kind of the more the better, like the more the better for us. And also, don't forget that we have 2 biennales, One is in Bangkok Art Biennale is just funded by private sectors, and Thailand Biennale is around the countries. And of course, in every year from now on, we'll have at least 2-3 more museums open. And also in Chiang Mai, we will have, is it going to be happen? Sorry, the Chiang Mai one?
Rosewine?
Oh.
Maybe.
Yeah, but
You can't see her, she did a dance.
but you know what? I think it's good for artists and the community, especially students. Like for us, we are not that luxury. When we were young, we are not that luxury. Oh, we see the work of like artists in the Biennale, and the museum, and especially younger generation of the curators. From my generation, we're like, oh my God, we have to build, our own small space, right? And we have to find our way off. And this generation, I don't know where to work. Even I want to work in the Central, Jim Thompson, the Bangkok Biennale, Thailand Biennale. You have too many choices.
Good problems. Okay, again. I think that's...
Yes, one more
We
question.
have one more question? Okay, we'll take that because we're at...
I don't have a question. I just wanted to make a comment.
Sure, of course. Could you introduce yourself?
Yes, of course. My name is Yashasvi. I'm a new artist. Oh, sorry. Hi. My name is Yashasvi. I'm an artist, also in business development. But I had a comment. I just wanted to say I had the most wonderful time at the Bangkok Art Center. I went a couple of years ago with my sisters. And to add on to what someone asked here was, what I loved about it is how at every level there was something else happening. You had schools hosting exhibitions of the students. You had craftsmen and artists having their own stores there. Then at a level, there were emerging artists, and at the top level, there were like really, really fine artists. What I liked was I went with my sisters, and they are not in the arts. I mean, they're trying to understand it. So they had something that they could purchase, and I could purchase something, and it's like a lowered the barrier of entry for the public to engage with the arts, and that's what I appreciate. Thank you for creating this.
Hello.
Thank you.
Anyone else wants to ask a question? Sipaki?
Is that okay?
Just a quick question.
Just wait for the mic because the people online can't hear you.
Online.
Hello. Hi, my name is Pablo. My name is Sapake. So I was interested actually because what we're hearing now is that there's an infrastructure of institutions that are being built up a lot in Bangkok. I'm not sure about the rest of Thailand, but I'm curious looking at this map about the relationship between the institutions in this region. And I just wanted to, just hear a little bit about, what is the kind of maybe conversations between either directors, museums or institutions? Are there networks that support potentially exhibitions between? What is the relationship?
You mean in the country or the region?
In Thailand, and I'm looking at Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos, China, and I'm wondering what's that?
I think it's not so systematic, it's more like friendship based. Yeah, we have a very good friends, like especially in Singapore, Indonesia, we work a lot together. Vietnam, more like curatorial and more like person to person, because after Zoe left, when I was very quiet. So I think now they started to build a bigger and mid-sized museum or organization, right? But I think some of the project, for example, like Hans Nefkin, they're trying to kind of hold this regional project together. For example, some the artists that I showed before the current one, she will have a show around the world and then go back to Vietnam. And also in terms of working collaboratively, I was working for Mustafa, helping him buy art, helping Singapore to, spend money. And I'm really happy. I'm really happy to do that. But within our in Thailand right now, we meet each other once a month, among the museum director, and we are plotting something big next year. So you guys should Thailand.
Yeah, it is true. We are cooking something up. I love the camaraderie we have, and we're all women.
Yeah.
This is another unusual aspect. But just to talk a little bit more about what the younger generations across Southeast Asia, as artists and curators, are really inspiring me, because I'm finding that because there's this ASEAN passport, that means they don't have to apply for visas anymore. So it's a lot easier to cross and move back and forth. That was a game changer.
Wow.
And then secondly, there are more artists who are returning from studies abroad. I think this is the moment where I'm really enjoying how many artists are not staying in Europe and America. Because go back, say, 15 years, they didn't come home. But now they're actually really understanding they have a role to play. And I'm seeing more and more exchange relationships starting completely independently, where artists are working with other artists on collaborative works, curators are working with other curators to start up discourse. And there's a lot of reading groups at the moment in Southeast Asia. So and reading across language. Yeah. So there's a lot of bubbling, which is I'm really enjoying.
And also the project, my future project, I'm going to take people along the rivers, and then we go upstream first, and we come downstream, from China to Vietnam. So this is occasionally, So I will copyright this.
Yes. Motion to change all biennales to occasionales when it's actually necessary to do it. Yeah. Thank you for that incredible session. And